Good morning. Hand today's going to be Queen Jack Spades. We are going to start reviewing some of my own hands here. We've got a player open raise, 2 big blinds. I think this is a short table. That's why you've got some short stacks. That's why I'm sitting at 64. You buy in for 50. That's all you can do. So I called. Big blind called. And I think it probably screwed up. But I think the short table kind of affected me on this because, 2 big blind min raise. I think we just attack it. We view it as a limp. We probably should view it as a limp. Yes, I'm seeing more players make these min raises. Heck, I'm doing it now. If it folded to me, I'm trying to make a min raise here on the button and small blind just to see what would happen. And I'm doing it with wide range hands basically. I'm not going to say 100% of hands, but a big part of my range. So we could kind of view it as a limp, but at the same time, this is a short table, so you tend to have to tighten up and start playing bigger hands, adjusting what you're playing because stacked pot ratios are going to be different. So this player, we've got nothing on him. This is all we have. Played turn draw aggressively. That's it. So I'm going to assume he kind of goes something like this. I excluded these cards because I kind of assumed that he would have raised bigger, made like a 2.5, 3 big blind raise. We don't know what this min raise, if this is standard for him or not. But I think it's an okay rule to kind of assume that if he did a min raise, he probably doesn't have these types of hands in there. So I'm giving him a range like 30%. My 3 better call range looks something like this. This is against a mid position player. You can see that it is fairly tight. It's typically don't play a whole lot of hands. We could probably open it up a bit against a looser range. We could probably shift like Ace Jack, King Queen, Queen Jack, Jack 10 to more of a raising range, and then kind of add like your Ace 10, King Jack, Queen 10. But we're gonna go with this range, and then we've got big blind, and he is playing 67%. And I do have a note on him where he called early position player. His raise first in the small blind was 7-6 off. So because he called that with 7-6 off, and we also have, like you could see, Queen 8 off is what he calls in the big blind. I'm giving him just a big range here. Big range, 70%. So let's see a flop of Jc5d2. So I flopped top pair, which is pretty good. 2 diamonds. So it goes check, and then he bets, and he does a min bet. So he bets a basically third pot. And again, we have no idea what he has. What kind of hands he's dealing with. This could be a C bet, like 100% C bet situation for him, where he just bets until he gets resistance, or he could be a bit more selective. So you've got your overcards, you've got your flush draw. So if we just say pair plus, and then like gut shots, flush draw, and overcards, you're only at 47.8%. I'm just gonna say everything. He's gonna C bet everything, and I think because of that, I think our jack's strong enough to where we can bet. Now, oftentimes, we're looking at raising like weaker hands. So I don't think he has anything. If I raise, I think he's going to probably be folding chunks like this. Probably even middle pair. I think these pocket pair less than the top cards might call once, see what happens, and then folds. But I'm not sure if a middle pair. I guess if middle pair calls, maybe he's calling with like Ace 5. And we could do that. Like he calls with Ace 2. We're going to be doing 100%. But you can see that it goes from 100%, he's folding 50%. And I'm not sure if we want that. Because right now, if I call, I could easily have a diamond. I could have some other hand. So, in terms of what I could play, I kind of think we should be raising sets, I think we should probably be raising top pair, and then that allows us to kind of go after our like raising as a bluff with some of our overcards, maybe 2-card backdoor flush draws, but actually, as we look at it, we don't. I mean, we really don't have a huge range. That's the funny thing, is that we don't have a massive range, so it's going to be hard for us to balance. We'd have to include some of these cards in as bluff. So if we don't have a whole lot, then let's change it. If we only sets and flush draws. That looks like the raising range that we should be using. I think these are all valid. Top pair, pocket pair less than the top card. Probably wouldn't. I think you could include like these backdoor flush draws. They could actually be probably part of the raising range. So we're going to do that. We're going to keep 100% range for this guy. We called, and then because we did that, now we encourage this other guy to call. And we're just basically, based on his 67, we're going to say any pair, any sort of draw, including overcards. So, yeah, while we want to raise, our range itself is suggesting that we probably shouldn't. But then again, if he's raising 100%, then I think our range is probably to 3-bet 100%, or to, if he's betting 100% of his range, then we should probably be raising 100% of our range, because we're going to be stronger overall. All right, 4 hearts comes out. Now he bets, continues to bet a third. I call. And I think it's really the third player got to me. I kind of think at this point, instead of a third, I can't imagine straights and sets are going to be betting that small. I guess it could, so we could scale it at like 50%. In the absence of other information, I would say they're probably not raising like that. And same thing with these, like the ace jack and king jack hands. I think they would be larger. I think flush draw continues betting like that. Open ender straights, still a third. Possibly. We're going to give him all the gut shots. We're going to give him all something like that. And I'm not sure if he's doing any of those weak pairs. Again, he could. I think our gut shots are going to cover it with the pair hands. So at this point, we already called. We didn't raise, which kind of eliminates our sets and our flush draws. So it's kind of putting us at just kind of a one pair type hand. Does he know that? Probably not. I think maybe in this hand I was considering, how does other people at these limits play? And I think they would play, I don't think they would necessarily raise flush draw or raise with just a top pair hand. So we've kept top pair in our range, I believe, at least in his eyes. So he bets again, and he bets small. And again, we don't know what he's doing. I have encountered more players that are betting these smaller, like on flop and turn and then the check river. They have been doing that. So maybe he continues betting with flush draw. Maybe he continues betting with the gut shot. Right, we've got all of those. So do we ever raise? I don't know. I think we call with the gut shot. That's for sure. Those are all top pair with the flush draws. Need to get rid of those. So I think those could have been good raising hands. Yeah, I just think we get rid of those cards at this point. So we're heavy. We're kind of heavy on some draws. Still have some top pair hands. I guess we still call with like some of these top pairs. Sometimes call, sometimes fold. I think is probably what we're looking at. And then this other guy folded. And again, he must have been calling with just all of the weak stuff and then ultimately decided just to give it up. All right, five spades. Now he comes out betting bigger. And at that point, that doesn't look good for most of our hands. At that point, yeah, he could probably be doing it with any of his good top pair plus hands. Probably not these weaker kickers. Kind of expect him to just check. And same thing, ace jack. I can kind of give him to that. Say that probably goes half pot, but like king jack might only be might be slightly smaller. I can't imagine he's betting it with like these weaker pairs, ace highs. So again, I think since the draw is missed, and if he was just betting just a bet to try to see if I was going to fold a missed draw, I think he would probably go smaller. So I think at this point, we're basically setting him up to be fairly big, fairly solid hand. And I did call because we do have top pair, but I just feel like I've misplayed this hand all the way. So he shows two trip twos, which I didn't have because we kind of excluded like the bet based on the bet sizing. So this was, I mean, it was a good hand to review so that we could get some notes. So we're just gonna take it down. RFI 2 big blind in hijack with 2 hearts, 2 of clubs. He is MP 3-way. So he bet, we're going to say 33%. Then he bet 33%, and then he bet 50% on a jack of clubs, 5 of diamonds, 2 of diamonds, 4 hearts, 5 of spades board. And again, this short table, you know, the stack to pot ratios are going to mess things up. And I think that's probably why I played the hand that I did. It's probably why I didn't raise the flop. Because at this point, he bets 2. I'm going to raise it up to 8 to 10. You know, if I raise it up to 8 and he calls, so I have 8, 16, plus 6, 22. Pot would be 22, and he's going to have 38. And it's almost like I'm committing myself at that point. We don't have as much freedom, basically. So this is the hand. I lost to it. Not super excited about how I played. I did start calling a little bit more here with the top pair, but again, by how it's played, I think when we work through our hand ranges, that sizing up on the river kind of suggests that he's connected something, and I wasn't going to be surprised if he showed me a 5. Why did I call? Again, top pair, we're guarding against you know, somebody betting with the diamond draw, you know, especially if they had like an ace, you know, an ace x diamonds. They pick up a gut shot, they continue betting small, hoping that we fold. So all right, hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, look tomorrow. I plan to review another hand.